What do you do when you have multiple EIDL applications that are currently pending at the same time for the same business while the portal reopens for the new application next week? Thanks for tuning in, and this is the debut broadcast of LALATE Live. Today we are featuring Tim Watson, who is an avid viewer from Greenville, North Carolina. If you like our channel, as always, like and subscribe to this channel and drop your comments below, and we may feature them in tomorrow's recording. And please hit that bell on the front of this channel so you get an alert when a helicopter comes and takes me during the middle of a broadcast. Today we had a live chat with Tim Watson of Greenville, South Carolina, who is an avid viewer of this channel. And he has a problem concerning multiple applications.
LA, Tim Watson here. I am a viewer and follower of your channel. And first of all, I want to say thank you very much for the time and effort that you put into providing us with the most up-to-date EIDL information.
It's a problem that we actually expected to see, and we mentioned it in yesterday's broadcast. It's going to be a further problem as we think that a lot of viewers or non-viewers of this channel who seem to find us, over the next weeks or so, may come to us because they filed under agricultural or they file under the new portal applying, and they get that wonderful letter from you-know-who that says, hey, you have multiple applications. Well, here was his problem. Tim Watson applied several weeks ago. He got a grant on April 20th. So he got, and of course this is based upon the number of employees, but he got his grant, but he didn't know what was the status of his loan. And so what Tim did was he reapplied. And then he sent an email asking, hey, what's the status of his application? It appears that he reapplied again. And he did so in the last few weeks, which clearly was in the agricultural zone. If you don't know, the portal is not open as of the time of this broadcast and has not been open since early May. That is only for agricultural applications. But a lot of you, by pure accident, may have resubmitted or submitted an application for EIDL grant and loan since May for your business, which clearly is not agricultural. In the case of Tim Watson, he owns a wonderful insurance agency in South Carolina. Give him some business. And he accidentally applied for agricultural as well. So he spoke to them and he said that they told him on the phone that he was denied due to info in my Experian. A very sort of vague way of saying perhaps his credit score was wrong. But Tim doesn't detail any receipt of a denial letter. And his comments were, well, am I denied or what's the status? I'm in a perpetual vortex, which will get me nowhere. Let's see what Tim said.
I've called several times before. I started calling them about a month ago because I got my grant. So I got my grant on the 20th. I think I applied on the 4th. I got my grant on the 20th, $1,000. I didn't hear anything. I waited about 3 weeks and I called several times, never got anywhere. Nobody could tell me if it was approved, denied, nothing. So then I sent an email through the help desk last week, I think, and asked them what was up with it. And I got a response back that said it was denied due to info on my Experian. So I haven't gotten any further information. I've almost been scared to call back because I don't really know what to say. Should I say, hey, listen, want to just go ahead and tell you, admit I didn't know what I was doing. He probably got several different apps from me. I wasn't trying to screw you all over and pull the fucking damn hoodoo. But help sort this out for me, because I feel like the SBA should be helping people through this process, not just providing us the result of the process. I mean, I feel, to me, the SBA is supposed to help guide us through the process. It's just what I feel.
So Tim has an interesting situation. He has multiple applications, and it seems that he did not get one of those wonderful letters that said, hey, we're withdrawing one application, we're doing another. Ultimately, it appears that he was giving a verbal denial based upon credit score. Well, here's the first thing. Tim has to get a actual written denial of the EIDL loan. If it exists, then he needs to get it, because if he doesn't get it, there's no process which to follow thereafter. But in this situation, he may not actually have a denial. I mean, that's what's sort of fascinating. SBA has been very good at telling people that they're denied and sending that email with that letter, sometimes backdated a month, that's saying you're denied. So the fact that a representative may have told him on the phone that he was denied is perhaps not particularly clear. If he was denied and receives the denial letter, what Tim needs to do is do a reconsideration. He needs to send them a letter stating why he thinks he qualifies for the EIDL loan. If it was denied based upon credit score, then he needs to evidence the way in which his credit score was better than the time in which it was polled, or what the credit score is currently. If you're new to this channel, here's the problem. SBA has been caught doing 6 to 12 hard credit polls on people's Experian credit scores. The most they should have ever done was a single hard credit poll. If you don't know, in the case of Tim, he may have suffered at least more than one hard credit pull. That ultimately draws down your credit score and ultimately sets you up for a denial based upon credit score. So what Tim needs to first do is go on Experian and find out what his credit score was before he applied for the application and what this credit score is now. If you see a big drop and you see a lot of hard pulls, that is a way to really turn the situation around. As one of the viewers of this channel, Alan, who is a truck driver, knew and said in his comments, he understood that loans would be denied based upon credit score. So he went to Experian and got his credit up while SBA was still processing his application, and did so by taking bad entries on his credit score off. Tim can certainly do that as well, and he has time to do that. And then if the credit score is up higher, then go back to SBA and say, now in my reconsideration, hey, my credit score is higher. In the case of the grant money, he's already gotten his grant money, so the reconsideration is not needed to get grant money, but it's certainly good to get him the loan. Finally, the duplicate applications are not something that would necessarily trigger a denial. So Tim was clearly concerned that the fact that he had multiple applications may have triggered denial. No, not true. Finally, as is going to be detailed all over this channel today, from the EIDL loan to the grant video to the Jovita Carranza video, we're having 3 other EIDL videos today. Tim really needs to do the following. He's in South Carolina. He needs to call his senator right away. If he thinks the denial of the loan was unfounded and unwarranted, he needs to call them right away. The reason why is that in the last 24 hours, I cannot tell you how many viewers of this channel from various states have literally gotten their loans approved because their senators have stepped in on loans that have been sitting around since March and April. Some of these are people who had loan denials. Some of these are people that had loans not processed. Tim needs to do the same. If you think, Tim, that your loan should have been approved and you have the paperwork and you're ready to make your case, you should contact both your senators in your state and your House representatives right away. Viewers of this channel who have done that in the last 24 hours and actually emailed Jovita Carranza directly at her email address have gotten their loans approved just in the last 12 hours since yesterday's broadcast. If you have comments or questions about today's debut of LALATE Live, drop them in the comments below and we may feature them in tomorrow's recording. Thank you, and thanks for joining us as we expand this channel to offer new things that help you get forward.